Mitchell kicks it to Levert in the corner, drilling a big-time three. Less than a minute later, the Cavs run horns with screens on both sides. Without iHeart on the floor, OKC's wings switch everything, so Mobley slips to the lane, draws help, and finds Strue for another quality three. Cleveland's main strategy against this smaller lineup, though, was keeping Mobley in the dunker spot while a wing screened for Mitchell on the ball. This forced OKC to overcommit to Mobley, leaving shooters open as Levert knocks down another three. On the next possession, Mitchell gets downhill. Dort tries to sell contact, but with no call, Mitchell isolates and nails his first step-back three of the game. A similar play closed the third, with Mitchell isolating Joe for another step-back three. But it doesn't fall, keeping it a one-point game with 12 minutes left. OKC opens the fourth with the same small lineup, and the Cavs go right back to exploiting it. With defenders focused on Mobley, shooters are left open, and it's easier to attack the rim without a true rim protector, like Strue beating his man for a layup. What OKC really struggled with, though, were Mobley mismatches. Knowing they'll switch, Mobley slips early, catches the ball deep, and dominates inside. Despite this, Cleveland's defense took over in the fourth, thanks to one key adjustment, forcing the ball out of Shea's hands. While Joe hits a three here, the Cavs make it clear they'd rather anyone but Shea beat them. Strue loads up at the nail, recovers on a hard closeout, and Nang and Mobley pack the paint. On another play, as Shea isolates, Mobley camps at the block, daring Kenrich Williams to take an open three. Shea tries to take matters into his own hands, but Moy contests hard, forcing a tough shot. The Cavs' pressure on Shea stalls OKC's offense, putting two on the ball and making it difficult for them to get a good look. When the ball moves to Wiggins, Strue closes hard to run him off the line, while Moy plays help defense behind the play. No advantage is gained, and it leads to a turnover. On the next possession, Shea works against Mitchell, but Strue comes with a late double, and the only option is Williams on the perimeter, who can't capitalize. When Allen returns, Cleveland fully commits to the zone, and it shuts down OKC's offense. Every time Shea gets the ball in the middle, two defenders collapse on him. Jerome deflects a pass to JB, and another turnover follows. The Cavs' defense is tight, covering every inch of the perimeter while Allen controls the paint. Shea tries to set up an offense with J-Dub clearing out, but the Cavs' defense is too synchronized, forcing yet another turnover. OKC tries to counter by screening, but the Cavs stay aggressive. iHeart sets a screen, pulling the defense in, giving J-Dub space to attack and dish to the big for a floater. They also pick up the pace, attacking before the zone can set up. When the Cavs go to man defense, Shea can isolate and create, but soon after, Ty Jerome enters. Jerome dominates in the pick and roll, getting to his floater with ease. He scores 8 points in under 6 minutes in the fourth, proving how valuable his ability to run the offense off the bench is. The Cavs make a key move by leaving Allen and Mobley on the floor together, fully committing to a 2-3 zone, and they execute it perfectly. They turn defense into offense by playing fast as Garland finds Mitchell in the corner for the biggest shot of the game. Shea, though, is relentless and always finds a way to get to his spots despite the tough defense. In the zone defense, OKC tries their counter by having iHeart screen to get a pass to the wing. But Allen closes hard from the paint, forcing a tough drive and kick to Wallace. Moy contests the shot, and when Dort drives again, he runs into Allen, leaving him with no choice but to take a contested jumper. On the other side, iHeart continues to hedge against Garland's pick and roll, but with the Cavs' big-to-big passing, Allen and Mobley create easy offense. The Thunder switch iHeart onto Mobley, but the Cavs simply use Mobley to screen and get the same result. Mobley in the short roll, attacking the rim. After a free throw, the Cavs go up by 4, and the Thunder turn to their zone beater, J-Dub, attacks and finds Hartenstein for a floater. On defense, they finally abandon the hedge after being burned, switching Ihart onto Garland. This results in a more manageable isolation, but Garland misses the step-back three. The Cavs, though, take advantage of OKC's size disadvantage. Allen draws a foul for an offensive rebound, and after missing the second free throw, Moy tips it, out for another chance. Mitchell sets up a pick and roll, misses a tough shot, but Allen grabs another offensive rebound. With little time left, the Cavs make the most of their opportunities. Moy has to chuck up a three, and in pursuit of another offensive rebound, Mitchell gets called for a foul. However, he challenges the call, and the Cavs win the review, giving them a fifth opportunity to score. This time, they simplify things, with a middle-of-the-floor isolation for Mobley against Ihart. Mobley gets to the rim and puts the Cavs up by 5. The Thunder had adjusted to the zone, having used their zone beater to near perfection twice, but on the next play, Allen anticipates it. He sprints up to Ihart from the block, closing down the floater, forcing Shea to turn the corner and go. At Allen with the shot clock winding down. Moy waits under the basket to play cleanup, but OKC is stuck. The Thunder desperately need a stop to stay alive, and their pressure on the ball stalls Cleveland's offense. Garland now has to create something one-on-one against Wallace, and he does, using his shifty handle to get to the rim and score, sealing the game. From there, it's all about running down the clock as the Cavs defend their home court and extend their 10-game win streak. Cleveland's brilliance is evident in how they produced offense against OKC's defense, while their leading scorer struggled. Garland stepped up as the lead guard, orchestrating 2 key stretches of pick-and-roll play. But the biggest story was the performance of the big men. They combined for 46 points, 21 rebounds, and 13 assists, dominating both ends of the floor. Shout out to Shea, J-Dub, and Ihart for their standout performances, but the Cavs' ability to stop OKC's offense ultimately proved too much. Sure, things may have been different with chat available, but that doesn't take away from the Cavs' dominance. They're one of the best offensive teams ever, with multiple ball handlers on the floor at all times and everyone in their rotation being a great passer. They're an all-time three-point shooting team and can outsize most opponents. This game has shown just how dominant they are, and I can't wait for the next matchup on January 16th. If you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more content. For deeper insights, check out the Hoop Venue podcast and my social media profiles, links in the description. Let me know your thoughts on this game in the comments, and I hope you have a great day. I'll see you in the next one. Heading into Wednesday night, the Cavs held a 31-4 record, while the Thunder trailed closely at 35. A clash between two teams of this caliber always feels historic, but what stood out was the contrast in styles. Cleveland thrived on elite scoring, averaging over 122 points per 100 possessions and boasting the second most efficient offense ever. Meanwhile, OKC leaned on an all-time great defense, allowing just 104 points per 100 possessions. This was truly an unstoppable force, meeting an immovable object, setting the stage for an epic duel. Interestingly, Cleveland's defense took center stage with some tactical adjustments. Evan Mobley played a roaming role, acting as a free safety, while Dean Wade matched up with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Garland or Mitchell often guarded Jalen Williams, with Allen hedging screens to disrupt pick-and-roll actions and force the ball elsewhere. On one possession, J.B. Williams ran a pick-and-roll, but instead of hedging, Allen dropped back to disrupt a lob attempt. When Shai initiated the pick-and-roll, Allen and Wade switched everything, leveraging Wade's size to guard bigs effectively. In one instance, Wade switched on to J.B. Williams, forcing him into isolation, while Allen stayed mobile to contest a tough shot. When Allen and Wade switched, Mobley would rotate from the weak side to protect the paint, leveraging his elite rim protecting ability to deter shots. Against guard-to-guard screens, Cleveland switched seamlessly, with Garland isolating briefly before Mobley closed the gap to block a layup attempt and reset to challenge Hart. Ultimately, the true test remained Cleveland's offense versus OKC's stifling defense. And that, of course, led to some intriguing possessions. The Cavs opened with Wade screening for Garland to force Shea onto the ball, setting up their usual spread pick and roll. Garland hit Allen on the short roll, who quickly swung it to Wade in the corner for an open three. A minute later, they ran a similar set, with Wade screening before Garland received the ball from Allen. This time, Case and Wallace stayed glued to the ball while Hart played the lob in a drop, neutralizing the threat and forcing a tough jumper from Mitchell that didn't fall. Speaking of Mitchell, his pick and roll looked different as Hart jumped out aggressively to get the ball out of his hands. Allen again made the right play in the short roll, finding Wade for another easy bucket. There was one early possession where Hart switched on to the ball, and Garland quickly exploited the mismatch, leading to Allen earning free throws to give Cleveland the lead. The Cavs experimented with a zone, rotating well to cover options, but OKC's ball movement was even sharper. Without Mobley on the floor to cover space, J-Dub found an open corner three. The zone only lasted one possession as the Cavs returned to man defense, with Wade doing a solid job against Shea. OKC leaned on guard screens, and Cleveland continued switching. While J-Dub on Garland was a mismatch, the goal was to stall OKC's offense and force isolation plays, especially for Shea. Allen often switched onto the ball, giving Shea favorable matchups. As an elite isolation scorer, Shea exploited these situations, creating for himself and collapsing the defense. With OKC shooters hitting shots, their offense gained momentum. Cleveland tried doubling the ball to force it out of Shea's hands, but OKC's crisp passing led to open looks like Jalen Williams' corner three. The Cavs had to live with Shea's scoring, hoping their offense could keep pace. Fortunately, Cleveland's depth shined. With Mitchell resting, Levert stepped up as a secondary playmaker. One standout play saw Wade set a hard off-ball screen to free up Struss, who drained a three. After stepping out of bounds, the Cavs found a spark, so on the next baseline out-of-bounds play, they ran a similar LT pick and roll, with Wade screening for Struss on the weak side. This time, the separation didn't materialize, but Levert reset the action with Allen in the middle, who turned the corner for a massive lob. Struss, when his shot is falling, becomes a key offensive weapon, thriving on handoffs where he can shoot on the move if given any space. He's also a capable ball handler and passer, creating plays when needed. Mobley, meanwhile, showed his versatility by curling off a screen and hitting quick mid-range jumpers. Earlier, Cleveland ran a double drag, a core play with a wing setting one screen, while the big either sets the second or rolls. It led to a wide-open Garland three that missed, but later, the same play was adjusted for Mitchell, flipping the screen order to force Shea into the action. The switch worked perfectly, with Mitchell setting up Mobley. Still, OKC's defense made their mark, using soft hedges and switches to force Cleveland into tougher looks. On one possession, Wiggins locked down Levert, forcing a contested shot, and by the end of the first quarter, the Thunder held a 7-point lead. Yet Cleveland's offensive firepower was always poised to shine. Stay tuned for what happened next. When OKC sends a double at Mitchell, he quickly gets the ball to Okoro, who swings it to Niang in the corner. Niang finds Mobley in the middle, and one more pass sets up Struss for a wide-open corner three. The Cavs' ball movement is unmatched, even off inbounds plays as they push the ball up court with quick passes. This time, it ends with Mobley muscling into the paint for a tough and one. All they need is an initial advantage, like iHeart jumping out to Mitchell on a screen, leaving Mobley with a mismatch. A couple of passes later, Mobley gets another low-post touch, earns a trip to the line, and keeps the offense flowing. Cleveland's abundance of passers and ball handlers makes them lethal. Beyond Garland, Mitchell, LeVert, and Struss, Ty Jerome has emerged as a hyper-efficient pick-and-roll initiator. In one instance, a double drag left space for Jerome to attack and float one in. Later, Struss worked a two-man game with Allen, looking off the help to feed Jerome for easy points. Jerome, in just 6 minutes, tallied 7 points and an assist, without missing a shot. On defense, Okoro took the job of containing OKC's second unit, using his strength and instincts to shut down passing lanes and disrupt plays, proving why he's Cleveland's best perimeter defender. When Okoro is screened, the Cavs are fine switching, though JB counters with a quick pull-up three. The same approach continued when Allen subbed in for Mobley. OKC ran a double drag to target Garland, but Allen seamlessly picked up JB while Okoro slid to Hartenstein and Garland shifted onto Wallace. Using Okoro as the primary defender and switching his screens effectively limited OKC's dribble penetration, though tough shot-making still kept the Thunder scoring. When Shea checked back in, he exploited the switches to isolate and dominate. Ty Jerome. The Cavs then tried a zone to take away the middle, which led to an open flare for Isaiah Joe that he missed. That zone lasted just one possession, but they later used a similar approach with Allen ignoring Jay and packing the paint. Shea was forced into a contested three, and Allen's one-man zone minimized paint touches. OKC tried pulling Allen into action, but his high drop forced a turnover. When Wade returned, he and Allen continued switching, and while Shea found his spots, he missed key shots. Moments later, a miscommunication left the paint open for a backdoor cut. OKC stayed effective, but Garland took over with a classic flurry. A double drag set up Allen for free throws, and a spread pick-and-roll gave Garland space to lob it to Allen. His pull-up jumper kept defenders on edge, creating driving lanes and easy points. Just like that, Cleveland closed the gap to 1. Before, the Thunder's stars returned, holding a slim 3-point lead. The Cavs had a significant advantage with OKC lacking a true second big alongside iHeart, or Jay Will, meaning Mobley or Allen often had mismatches. This forced OKC to overcommit to the paint, leaving shooters open and struggling to secure rebounds. The elite big-to-big, passing between Mobley and Allen, further complicated things, as opposing bigs couldn't make the right choice. The Cavs gained momentum, and Mitchell capped the half with his first field goal, despite shooting just 1 of 8. It wasn't his night, missing shots he normally makes, while Lou Dort's defense was stellar, denying touches, contesting drives, and even blocking a mid-range jumper. Yet Mitchell's paint, touches, and playmaking kept him impactful. Cleveland's defense shone at the end of the half, forcing tough Shea buckets by switching guard screens and overplaying the paint. They mixed in creative looks, like Garland blitzing Shea unexpectedly to force a turnover and executing a perfect zone to deny paint touches and contest threes. By halftime, the Cavs had outscored OKC by 10 in the second quarter, leading by 3. The Thunder responded in the third, heating up as Shea continued exploiting switches onto Allen and using the two-man game with J-Dub to attack Allen in drop coverage. iHeart counters with a floater, an incredibly tough shot against a defense packed with rim protectors. These minutes, though, were all about J-Dub, who kept attacking Allen in drop coverage. When Mobley stayed in the paint to contest drives, J-Dub rose for a tough jumper. The Cavs adjusted by putting Mobley on J-Dub for a better physical matchup, which briefly worked, but the Thunder countered by letting Shea hunt Allen's switches, drilling a step-back 3 in isolation. OKC's defense, meanwhile, struggled with Garland. Off pick-and-rolls, iHeart hedged the ball, but without a second big, Allen dominated short rolls. Adjusting, iHeart dropped back, with J-Dub rotating as the low man, only for Mobley to bury a corner three. The Cavs' creativity shone as Wade screened to get Garland a switch, allowing him to drive uncontested. When Shea hedged instead of switching, Wade buried a wing triple. My favorite play came when Mitchell faked a pick and roll with Allen to set Garland up off a flare screen from Mobley, leading to a drive and an and one. OKC tried a zone, but Cleveland's passing tore it apart. Wade screened to create a brief two-on-ball moment, and Garland exploited the space, setting up Allen for easy points. Even when OKC returned to man with increased ball pressure, Cleveland's ball movement and execution thrived. From there, it's all about running down the clock as the Cavs defend their home court and extend their 10-game win streak. Cleveland's brilliance is evident in how they produced offense against OKC's defense, while their leading scorer struggled. Garland stepped up as the lead guard, orchestrating two key stretches of pick-and-roll play. But the biggest story was the performance of the big men. They combined for 46 points, 21 rebounds, and 13 assists, dominating both ends of the floor. Shout out to Shea, J-Dub, and iHeart for their standout performances, but the Cavs' ability to stop OKC's offense ultimately proved too much. Sure, things may have been different with chat available, but that doesn't take away from the Cavs' dominance. They're one of the best offensive teams ever, with multiple ball handlers on the floor at all times and everyone in their rotation being a great passer. They're an all-time three-point shooting team and can outsize most opponents. This game has shown just how dominant they are, and I can't wait for the next matchup on January 16th. If you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more content. For deeper insights, check out the Hoop Venue podcast and my social media profiles, links in the description. Let me know your thoughts on this game in the comments, and I hope you have a great day. I'll see you in the next one.